Livestream Escape from Hotel Izanami is primarily a horror adventure game with puzzle and ecchi elements. You play as online streamers, Mio, Nana, and Azusa as they explore a haunted hotel. Their hope for a pleasantly spooky time turns life-threatening as an eerie pig mascot chases them.
やっぱりどうしたのミオ。多分この部屋だと思う。
Livestream's gameplay is split between three aspects: horror as you try to escape and collect clues, visual novel portions as the girls call each other, and puzzle sections that require certain items to continue. These chunks are cycled frequently, keeping the otherwise repetitive gameplay lively. The horror aspects are deserving of the most scrutiny, and they do not disappoint. The atmosphere in the abandoned foyers oozes anxiety. Demolished ceilings and locked doors galore, you'll never be sure if an escape route will be available. The main obstacle in the game is the aforementioned pig mascot, who will appear at certain points of the hotel and chase your character with a massive knife. Its appearance cleaves through the usually silent walking portions, with the baying of panic effectively acting as both a jump scare and a warning sign. These segments are surprisingly brutal, with only a few moments to decide where to run before being met with the game over. This comes with its downsides. If you are caught, you will have to start over from your last save point. While this is standard, having to save multiple times after obtaining a new item to avoid redoing a puzzle section is tedious. More importantly, interacting with the save menu multiple times through a horror game breaks the tension. It is an option to forego saving, but be prepared for some tedium as you trudge through the same puzzles. It's easy to get lost too, since the map doesn't show your current location, and there's little in the way of landmarks. Despite these gripes, Livestream succeeds in creating pressure where there isn't even a threat present. It can get away with a lack of music because your character's bated breathing and frazzled footsteps create the perfect backdrop for terror. The character movement animations feel doll-like and slow enough to make you question whether you would be able to make it if a creature were to give chase. The very backdrop objects themselves turn threatening, with portraits clattering to the ground and electronics operating independently. The visual novel portions are short, but the voice direction and animation strike decisively at the hearts of the matter. The text will shake when the characters are frightened and the expressions are to die for. At particularly daunting moments, their look of sheer shock punctuated with shivering pupils sell the action. Furthermore, given the game's live stream premise, almost all of the dialogue is presented in a digital format. This is reminiscent of found footage movies of old, and the shaky quality makes it feel pleasantly nostalgic. Having unique angles provided by phone cameras also creates interesting avenues for scares. The puzzle portions of live streams is its most linear. These blur the adventure aspects where you walk around finding useful items to escape the inevitable danger that the supernatural hotel will inflict. These puzzles are the locked room type, making the necessary items feel like MacGuffins at times. They are not difficult to solve, but the role of the puzzles in horror games isn't to challenge your mind, rather it tests your ability to keep your nerves, and it does its job well. Puzzles don't pose many challenges, but succeed in distracting from possible scare warnings. The puzzles also introduce the ecchi scenes. If the talking portions are like visual novels, the loot parts are akin to the CGs. The art style is cute, however it is advertised as an interactable scene, while in reality, you can only interact with it one way before solving the puzzle. This doesn't detract from the polish of the art, but it is strange when it's presented as a major feature. If the game were bought primarily for these ecchi scenes, it would be a massive disappointment. Otherwise, these scenes are much quicker than they would suggest and can be as short as you would like them to be. There is an attempt to include a story by leaving scraps of writing and pictures among the mandatory items. While it does explain how things came to be, it doesn't seem like such a simple story needed a plot. It is an awkward inclusion that tries to alleviate the narrative, but doesn't have enough substance to change its direction. Livestream Escape from Hotel Izanami proclaims to be a horror game with interactive ecchi elements. While the latter is sorely lacking, it does live up to being a ghastly look into a classic setting. The technological approach offsets what would normally feel like cheap tricks of misleading angles and jump scares. Livestream understands that less is more when it comes to aspects like music, inviting players to concourt their own terrible images of what lurks in the depths. Ironically, the aspects that extend into something more than a horror game end up dampening the experience. Livestream is a solid study of horror fundamentals, which is satisfying on its own. Noisy Pixel is giving Livestream Escape from Hotel Izanami a 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Please use the full review at noisypixel.net. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
Noisy Pixel.